The difference between working for a good company and a bad company always comes down to management. The number one reason that people quit is because of their managers. But have you ever noticed that it's not the leadership that quits, it's not the managers that quit, it's the people actually doing the work that quit. So wait, the people actually doing the work quit because of their managers, then those managers hire new people that will eventually quit because of their managers. Does anyone see the irony here? Then leadership will leave that toxic management in place to solve the problem that they created. This is a crazy merry-go-round of bad ideas. The real problem is that managers are not leaders, and being a leader doesn't mean that you're a manager. This is why management seems to have lost its way. Core leadership principles like empathy, vision, drive, perspective, they've all been forgotten. People are so focused on their status within an organization or the bottom line that they forget their real job. The real job of a leader is to drive the vision, not force labor. Too many managers want to be in control, while leaders understand that they influence the people who are truly in control. It's not about who's in charge, it's about motivating the people under your charge. This is what separates managers from leaders. This is that special trait that people refer to when they say, so-and-so is a great leader. Picture this. When you're starting out as an entry-level employee, your only responsibility is to be good at your job. That's it. That's all you have to do. People go to school to pick up skills. They get degrees to make themselves better at their job. Maybe their company sends them to training. You learn all these internal processes. You work hard to excel. You hone your skills until one day you finally get promoted. You get promoted to management. You get promoted into a position that's now responsible for the people who do the very job that you used to do. But no one showed you how to do that. What do you know about being responsible for people? This is why we have so many managers and so few leaders. This is why we have managers that micromanage your every move. And yeah, it's because they actually do know your job better than you. That's why they got promoted in the first place. And this is the challenge. You can't slap a manager title onto somebody and poof, expect them to suddenly be a great leader. They were responsible to do a job, which they did well. They did it well enough to get promoted. But what does that have to do with their leadership skills? Becoming a manager is a whole new thing. It's something brand new that has to be learned. We're talking about taking somebody that was responsible for a job, then shifting them to being responsible for the people doing the job. This is a whole new skill set. Now that we understand what creates this turmoil, how do we fix it? What does it take to become a great leader? The crazy part is that we already know the answer. We all know what makes a good leader. Every time you work with a not-so-great leader, you know it. You know exactly what it is that you don't like. The challenge is that there's plenty of not-so-great leaders out there, and the truly great ones, well, they're far and few between. And unfortunately, because of that, when you actually do have the opportunity to work with a great leader, you may not even know. But again, in your mind, you already know what a good leader looks like. So it comes down to one singular characteristic. This characteristic is called sacrifice. As a leader, when you receive the accolades, you push that to your team. But when something goes wrong, you take the responsibility. You keep that away from your team. Look at football. When your team is winning, everyone celebrates. But when the team loses, the head coach gets fired. This is a type of personal sacrifice that's required to be a great leader. But it's more than that. It's also the discipline to be consistent. Let me give you an example. Let's say you go to the gym one day and absolutely crush it. When you come home, how much of a difference do you see in the mirror? You worked hard, but you don't really see any results. Would you have the discipline to go back? The discipline to keep doing something over and over without seeing results? But let's say you keep pushing on. You're disciplined. A year later, when you look in the mirror, you see incredible results. But during that year of going to the gym, do you remember which day you actually saw results in the mirror? Not really. It's this discipline, it's this belief that you're doing the right thing over and over and over that makes you a great leader. All of these little things may not be recognizable on their own, but the cumulative effect of all those little things show up in a big way. Kind of like your physique after being in the gym for a year. So ask yourself, do you have that kind of discipline? But what happens in corporate America? They send their managers to a 2-day training seminar or maybe some other sporadic management training. All right, we're good. We trained up all our managers. Well, it doesn't really work that way. That's like saying you only need to go to the gym for 1 day in order to be in shape. Now, we can all agree that it's a good idea to work out, but it's going to take more than a week. And that's the same with management training. While that's a good first step, there's more that needs to be done. This is a process. This is a transition. For some people, that transition happens quickly. For others, it may be slower. And for others, it may never come. It's truly up to you to decide if you want to make this happen. Leadership is a skill like anything else. The more you practice, the better you get. And when I say practice, it doesn't mean shouting orders. It means commanding respect. It means giving respect in order to be respected. It means creating an environment where people want to give their best. It means listening. It means creating trust. It means all of these things, plus the discipline to do all of those things day in and day out while not receiving any immediate feedback. And that's the most difficult part. How do you know as a leader if you're doing a good job? Frankly, for me, this was one of the most challenging things that I had to overcome as I made that transition. So this is all real world stuff. I've been there too. And as a brand new leader, you want to make your mark. You want to do a good job. You want to succeed. But you measure a leader through their body of work, not through individual daily tasks. And this is where the discipline comes in. As a new leader, you don't have a body of work. So until you do, focus on doing the right things. Yeah, it's really that simple. Don't worry about the politics or the connections or whatever. Just focus on doing the right thing. Use that as your compass. If you solely focus on doing the right thing, everything else will fall in place. But don't just take my word for it. Watch this video where I talk about my transition to director, then 1 year later. I give you an inside look on what that experience was really like. And if you want an edge and you want to continue receiving this type of real-world information, make sure you subscribe to Digital Decision Makers because we're on a mission to help as many people as possible.